Welcome back, everyone. Let's take you into the politics of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State. It was a rare political move to see the governor, Godwin Obaseki, dump his former party, APC, for the PDP, considering the issues he had with the former governor and his predecessor. After the risky foray, he won the governorship race. But since then, it appears the political administration of the PDP in Edo State has taken a rather tumultuous turn. Expectedly, the control of the party's structure became contentious. The party appears not to have recovered from the defections and complexities which emanated from the 2020 governorship election. It is now a reference point that the state has operated for about 4 years without a full complement of its lawmakers in the House of Assembly since 2019, and since the governor was sworn in for a second term, the state has also not had a full complement of its cabinet in the executive arm. There are now very strong indications of major internal squabbles for the control of the party. Well, the deputy governor, Philip Shaibu, recently was reported of wanting to exit the PDP. What exactly is going on? Let's find out. I have two gentlemen who are members of the PDP in Edo State. They are in our Abuja studio. Oshilama Okuofu and Akemokwe Lukman, both are members of the PDP from Edo State. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for talking to us. I know Lukman will be able to speak with us on what exactly is the grievance of those who think that the right things are not being done, and we probably will hear Okofu Shilama telling us about what they think is right or wrong with the control of the structure of the party. Let me begin with Lukman. What is going on? Why would the deputy governor want to leave the PDP?
Yeah, thank you, Shil. A lot of things are going on in the party, in PDP, where I belong. Don't forget that we left APC after some crisis in the place for PDP. We were appreciative of the fact that the leadership of the PDP, starting from the national level to the state level, offer the governor and his deputy the tickets. Now, what happened is immediately after the elections, we now came back to business on how do we go forward, because in the party, the PDP party constitution, the leadership of the state rests on the governor of the state. Now, one of the major issues is that the governor did not come to the party, to PDP as an orphan, as a political orphan. He came with the full state structure of APC, starting from the state chairman then, who was Honorable Barrister Aslem Ojezua. More than 90% of the state ESCO came with him. More than 90% of the local government, 18 local government ESCO came with him. More than 90% of the 192 ward ESCO came with him. All the serving council chairmen, their vice chairman, their secretary, and the 192 councillors, except few who went with Ushumole, came with him. Now, with this full structure, don't forget that this is the structure for the past 12 years that has been defeating PDP in the state. Now, when they came, because they felt what Ushumole was doing to Obaseki was wrong, because Obaseki was doing the right thing, when they came after the election, the governor now said, okay, how do we integrate? How do we harmonize the structure so that no one side has an edge over the other? When we begin to inquire about the structure of the PDP, because we came there in a haste, we found out that even the PDP we met has a divided house. There was a faction that is pro Toby Kimi and Ogiadume, and there was also a faction that is pro Dan Obi. And the two factions were struggling for attention. And the governor said, no, please, I don't want any faction. All of you people work for me, and we all won the election. So let everybody be a parcel of it. So starting from the party structure, going through the appointments, then the local government election, we need to be fair to all the people involved. This was the governor's position. And the best way to go about this is the harmonization of the party structures in the state, starting from the states, the local government, and the ward executives. I can tell you for free that those factions that belong to Tommy Kimi faction agreed for harmonization. But there is a particular faction who are in control of the state ESCO, that never agreed. That is the Danobi faction that has the chairman, has a Gbemi. So this created the problem. And the governor said, please, we need this thing done so that the harmonized party structure will be the foundation where the appointment will be made. We have like up to 24 commissioners to be appointed. We have about 72 senior special assistants. We have about 15 special advisors. We have about 192 ward special assistants. And we have councillors to be elected next year. We have local government chairmen to be elected next year. So let us have a foundation so that we will not be pursuing the issue of, for the old PDP, Tommy Kimi faction versus Danobi faction, then the new PDP led by Aslem Mujizwa. Okay. And don't forget that ambitions of the various groups, this is the issue. So the Danobi faction disagreed with the governor, and they said, no, we will not agree. It's our structure, we want to hold on to it. So it stayed. And the governor said, after making the appointment of the SSG, he said, until we resolve this issue, no other appointment. So he gave a timeline for February, thinking that these issues will be resolved, only for us for them to run to court and create a stalemate, and the whole putting the governor in a very tight situation when the whole world is blaming him for not. Because if he has to do the appointment now, from the way they are doing it, it will be skewed towards one side. And he doesn't want that. After the February promise, he now
let me bring Oshilama into the conversation. Oshilama, give us a sense of what you... do you agree with the position of Lukman? Is that a true picture of what is happening?
Thanks for having me, Shil, and good evening, Nigerians. No, it's not. There was no faction in the PDP when they came in, and there still isn't any faction. I don't understand what it means by the Tommy Kimi, Ogedome faction and the Danobi faction. The truth about it is, we had a united house. These gentlemen that he mentioned, Tommy Kimi and Ogedome, with all due respect to them, the only claim they have to relevance in the politics of PDP in Edo State is because they've been former this and former that. The structure was built over time, even when the party was in opposition, by Dan Obi. I was a delegate to the last convention that brought in Tony Azegbemi and his ESCO. The issue is not whether there's a faction or not. What actually has happened is that the process of harmonization was not properly managed. You see, leadership is influence. It's not so much about titles. Yes, the constitution of the party, as it claims, ascribes the leadership of the party to the governor in the state. But you see, the governor is just coming from another party that threw him out, himself and his deputy and his crew, out into the rain. And what we did was to offer them our umbrella and our structure. And then the situation where we expect certain things to have been done based on promises that were made and expectations that we had that are not being met. That is what's causing this. It is the prerogative of the governor to make his appointment. He doesn't owe anybody any explanation. So this talk of there's a court case, that's why he's not making his appointment. I mean, I don't see why how that has any bearing to his appointing his commissioners, whom he can hire and fire, his special advisors, whom he can hire and fire, and others down the line. This whole thing was not properly handled. And don't forget again, too, see, there's precedence. Why is Edo State not following the path or the routes that Sokoto State did, what Governor Tambuwa did? Why is the governor of Edo State not doing what Governor Otom did in Benue State? And these governors were in PDP, with the PDP DNA, left for APC and came back. And when they were coming back, they had to make certain concessions, even with the fact that they were part of the PDP structure within their state and in the country. It's a function of you having to understand that we had our party, even when we were in opposition for 11 years plus. Now, if this party wasn't strong enough, let me tell you the truth, the governor wouldn't have bothered to come to the PDP.
Okay, so
why didn't you go to
Osilama,
no, hang on.
Just a moment.
He could have gone to some other party.
All right. I wanted us to clarify this for the
yes.
viewers to understand straight off. So I'd like to ask some straight questions from both of you and quick answers too, please. The first question I'd like to shoot, that I'd like to ask you, first and foremost, Osilama, does the governor want the structure of the party and your group or the established group that he met on the ground are not willing to relinquish? Is that the situation of things?
See, when you come with the approach of harmonization via dissolution, that's not going to work. What you're telling me is, I brought you into my house, right? And you now want to take complete control and you want to throw me out. If that's why I said the process was not properly managed. Now, I'm giving free advice, okay? If what will work is harmonization through integration. Okay, I have 6 commissioner appointments for you and X amount of senior special advisors for you. I'm going to give you those positions, and then I will take out certain members of your state ESCO, your local government ESCO, and replace them with my people. All right, so
Osilama, so that's the question I'm also asking. Yeah. So what exactly, just in a sentence, what did the governor do wrong?
That's what I just said. I said the process was not properly managed. The governor is not talking with the leader of the party in the state, and that is Danobi. I've said it, and even Lukman here can attest. I've even written it out on different platforms we all belong to. I've made this suggestion. These 2 gentlemen are the solution of this whole imbroglio. Simple. 2 of them should sit themselves in one room, talk to themselves, and they come out and a resolution will be reached. All right, whatever decision they take will be binding on us.
Yeah, let me bring Lukman in. So I asked those questions from Osilama just so that you can be able to respond, because it doesn't really agree with your position or the way you are seeing the problem. So he does believe, or from his own point of view, that the governor is not willing to shift grounds because he cannot come into the party, according to him, and not shift ground and want to dissolve without having to absolve. How do you react to the statement that he has made?
No, let's understand that it is a matter of legality. Don't forget that the people in question were duly elected, and the constitution of PDP clearly states how someone who was elected into a party position can be exited. One of the ways they do it is dissolution by the National Executive Committee. So what the governor said is, let us sit down and agree. How do we share? I'm bringing my people 50%. You are bringing your people 50%. Let's agree on the list. When we agree on the list, we go straight to the national body and ask for dissolution.
Look, man, what Osilama is saying.
You can't just take somebody out
what
without an election, bringing me another person in.
What Osilama just said to you now is that the governor has not had a sit down with Dan Obi, who, according to him, is the party leader in the state prior to the emergence of the governor into the party. Has the governor done that? Because that is his own fault for what the governor has done.
No, the governor, we don't want to go into another era of godfatherism again. The governor wants to deal with the people. He wants to deal with everybody. I have told him just now, if he is thinking, if he is saying that there are no factions, what was Edo North Elders Council doing in my place, led by the former chief of staff to the president, Ugiadume? Did Danobi agree with that council? So the governor will have to now leave that group and now go to Dan Obi and be dealing with him and whatever. Look at those godfatheristic statements. Two of them should just go into a room and agree. No, we don't do that. The politics we want in Edo State is everybody across the strata of leadership should be carried along. Not issue of two people deciding and handing it over to everybody in the party. We don't want that again. That is why the governor has clearly decided not to sit with any leader, whether Tommy Kimi as a person or Danobi as a person, but let the full people agree that this is what we want to do. So when they agree what we want to do and agree on a unified structure, then we go to the national body and say, please dissolve this structure for legality's sake and replace it with this one. The idea of somebody single-handedly nominating people.
Yeah, because it's raised a very, he said, look, this is somewhat kind of godfatherism playing out. Do you agree?
How is this godfatherism? There is a logjam. And we are saying, how do we move forward? And it's talking about, how is that godfatherism? I just told you, Sheung, and I'm trying to be careful with my choice of words here. The process was not properly handled. Now, he's saying there's a process of dissolving the ESCOs. Now, what he's suggesting, was that what was done in Sokoto and Benue states? Is there any crisis as a fallout of what those governors did? No. It's just a question of you didn't get it right from the get-go. Okay, fine. Why don't you now come back and do things the way they should be done? There was never any faction in Edo State. And when people now start sounding as if PDP wasn't on ground in Edo State, don't forget that we have 2 senators and 4 members of the House of Rep. And we've always won the presidential elections in Edo State. That for a while we've not produced the governor until now. It's not reason enough to say we're not on ground.
Okay, so let me another quick question I need to ask you, Oshilama. Who is the leader of the PDP in Edo State as we speak?
Well, there is like I said, what is leadership? Leadership is influence.
No, but I'm talking about political leadership. No, Shilama, because of our time, I wanted to ask you a straight question. Yes. I'll ask Lukman the same question. Who is the leader of the PDP in Edo State as we speak?
Sheung, I'm not going to be boxed into a corner. Leadership is influence. The governor constitutionally came and he has been ascribed the leader of the party in the state. But all
right, so just a moment, just hold it. Just hold it.
You nurture.
Okay, hold it to Shilama. Hold it to Shilama. Look, man, I'd like to ask you this question. Who were the major, who spearheaded the conversation between the governor when he was coming to the PDP prior to his coming? Who was the person, the leader in the PDP that spearheaded the meeting or the coming of Governor Baseki to the PDP in Edo State?
I would name them. There are about 3 of them. The senator representing Edo South, the senator representing Edo Central, Dan Obi was one of them. Then former Senator Uzamiri was one of them, who brought some level of influence from Atiku. And these people were in fact, the Danobi camp never even wanted him in. Let me give you an explanation of something that happened. They were the people that went to court in Port Harcourt to stop the governor.
When the
governor wanted to register, yes, traditionally the governor is from Ward 4.
No, I do not.
The governor is from Ward 4 in Oredo local government. Let me ask whether this thing is correct. The governor is from Ward 4, Oredo local government. Ask, when the governor wanted to pick his membership card, the chairman of the ward where the governor is the same thing as Obede Yama, is the same name, a brother to the House of Rep who took the governor to court. Now, what happened? they denied the governor a party membership ticket, membership. The governor has to go to Ward 3. Go and ask now, from where is the governor, where did he become
let me allow,
the member
because
of the party?
we
He
are
went
out of
to Ward
time.
3
Osilama,
to pick his
Osilama, is that
membership.
true?
Yes, please.
Osilama, is that true?
Listen, the issue here is people are coming from, across the road and not trying to tell us things the way they. I was the chairman of the Logistics and Accreditation Committee of the Congress, the gubernatorial Congress that gave this governor the tickets. So we know what we're talking about. You see, if there was a court case, yes, trying to stop him from coming to take, because people
led by Danobi.
People were already on ground. They had worked, committed their resources and manpower to getting the gubernatorial ticket. We had very solid aspirants, one of whom was Obede Hama. So the people that Governor Baseki negotiated is coming into the PDP. Danobi was not part of it. He negotiated with the so-called Abuja politicians who do not have any structure to give to him. The governor has come now and has found out that these people were just empty suits. They have nothing to offer him. And that is where the challenge is. And that's why I've said this. He should talk with Danobi, and this whole issue will be solved. It's not about godfatherism.
Gentlemen, we are totally out of time. But I'll give you 10 seconds, Lukman. 10 seconds. Your final word.
My final word is that the governor is the leader of the party, and the party leadership at the national level should give the governor the way to take over the leadership and the structure of the party. That is what is obtainable in every state.
Osilama, your 10 seconds.
In Nigeria.
Osilama, your 10 seconds.
This is about showing gratitude. This is about showing gratitude to a people who were there for you, who worked for your re-election, who made sacrifices. It's all about gratitude.
All right,
simple.
Gentlemen, Osilama Okuofo here and Akemokwe Lukman, both of them are member of the PDP. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming in tonight. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimalo enjoy the rest of your evening.